Hey y'all, hi. We're doing it. We're cozy. We're filming. We've got some plants. Still haven't finished painting the wall, but we're well on our way. I am excited about this video, but I feel like I have to give you a little bit of context. So if you are a regular viewer of my channel, then you know that my regular favorites video is called What's Cheering Me Up Right Now, and it mainly showcases non-material things like music, things that I enjoy watching or reading, life philosophies, recipes, that kind of thing, lifestyle changes and habits, those are the kinds of things that I talk about in What's Cheering Me Up Right Now. And I frame my favorites videos that way to shine a light on the fact that a joyful life isn't built out of stuff that you buy. Or another way of saying it is that you can't shop your way out of unhappiness. I used to think that I could shop my way out of unhappiness, and I used to try to do that, and it was bad. So it's important to me that I regularly remind myself and you that the best things in life aren't products. And I will link my most recent What's Cheering Me Up Right Now in the description box below this video. It's pretty recent, actually. So if you want to know what I'm talking about and you haven't seen a video like that before, you can click through and watch it. I will, of course, continue to film What's Cheering Me Up Right Now. That's going to continue to be my actual favorites video. But lately I have been wishing for a video format that would allow me to just straight up tell you about great stuff that I've tried. I love testing and reviewing things, and not just makeup, but things that are beautiful, things that make life flow more seamlessly. As my channel grows, I get more and more opportunity to do that. And I've been feeling like part of the fewer, nicer things philosophy can include figuring out which things are nicer. So I'm testing out this video format where I quickly and efficiently run through a short list of the creme de la creme of things that I have recently tried. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, then welcome. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Hannah. This is primarily a beauty channel, but it's diverse in a couple of directions. One is that as I mentioned in this introduction, I like to talk about the things that make life great that aren't necessarily products. I like to take a holistic view. And the other is that I like to talk about some things that are things but aren't necessarily beauty products. And you're getting all of that in this video. If you like this and if you're not subscribed, then please subscribe. And now let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. Okay, I'm very excited to tell you about the 6 things. I'm hopping with excitement, and I have some of them here before me. It's very exciting. Before I start the list, a quick word from today's video sponsor. Skillshare is today's sponsor. I love working with them. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes to inspire and guide your creativity. And y'all, it's thousands of classes. So I just recently moved into a new house, and I've been spending a lot of time thinking about how I want to arrange the space, how I want it to look and feel. A few weeks ago, I went to Skillshare on a whim, and I typed interior design into the search bar, and so many classes came up. The first class, which I immediately clicked on and immediately watched all the way through, was Erica Fogelman's class, How to Work with Interior Design Styles Like a Pro. And it really helped me understand the different categories of style in the interior design world and to think about home furnishings from a designer's point of view. Over this past month, I have found Skillshare to be particularly good for improving my grasp on interior design. So if that's something you've always wanted to do, it might be worth a try. Go through my link in the description box or use my code Hannah Louise Poston when you're signing up to get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. And thank you so much to Skillshare for supporting my channel by sponsoring today's video. Okay, let's talk about the 6 little things that have impressed me. It's kind of a weird list, and it's starting with, I broke it into 2 parts. So 3 of the things can loosely be called lifestyle. And 3 of the things are like beauty, fashion, beauty. The beauty things had to be really good to make it onto this list because I talk about makeup all the time in all of my videos. What is this open lipstick doing here? So I'm saving beauty and fashion for the second half of the video because I know that that's the juicy stuff that you're really here for. But you're gonna have to sit through 3 lifestyle. It's 3, what are they? They're impressive things. You're gonna have to sit through 3 impressive lifestyle things before you get to the beauty stuff. The first one's my toothbrush, and it's 2 things. So one is that it has really impressed me, and it's just a random toothbrush that I bought from Amazon. And I was just like, let's see how this one works. And it's so great, and I feel like it's such a good deal. And I was like, toothbrush comparison shopping. This is what I decided on. But again, it was sort of a gamble. I hadn't gotten a personal recommendation or anything, you know. I was just like getting the one that I had narrowed it down to. And when I got it and I started using it, I was like, why is there not more press about this really good mid-range, high-performing electric toothbrush? And then when I was filming that chaotic declutter video where I was decluttering my entire makeup collection in advance of moving, the case for this toothbrush was in that video. And someone was like, what's your toothbrush? Do you have a toothbrush recommendation? And I was like, yes, I do. What better video could there be in which to place my toothbrush recommendation? So it's called Aquasonic. I think if I remember correctly, when I was looking for a toothbrush, because the toothbrush that I had before actually had been PR. It was like a couple of years ago, this toothbrush company sent me a toothbrush, which was fine. And I had just run it into the ground completely. So I think I started reading some listicles. You know, if you Google like best electric toothbrush under $50 or whatever I Googled, it will come up with, I actually wasn't under $50 because there were all of these like $150 toothbrushes and $75 toothbrush, name brand, your teeth have never been cleaner, water pick included. There was a lot of that I was combing through, and I was like scrolling down the listicles trying to get to the best reasonably priced or like the budget option, the still serious budget option, kind of. That's what I was going for. I think it was on one of those listicles that I came across this. And then I clicked through and read all the reviews of all of the toothbrushes that I was considering, compared them all to each other, and I ended up with this one. So it's the Aquasonic. It's not the fanciest Aquasonic because Joe got jealous of my Aquasonic and then he decided to buy one for himself, and he like leveled up. I think he might have spent something like $50 and he got the one that has like a toothbrush head sanitizing thing where you like take the head off and put it in and it puts UV light on it and kills the germs or something. He's really into it. But I think I spent somewhere in the 30s, like somewhere between $30 and $40. And it came with a beautiful sturdy traveling case with room for an extra head. But a huge selling point for it for me is that it comes with like 8 extra brush heads. Like you never need to. I feel like the component, like the part that buzzes, is going to go kaput before I manage to make my way through all of the brush heads. Or the other thing that might happen is I might become more conscientious about replacing the brush heads on my toothbrush and do it every 3 months or however often you're supposed to do it. Whereas when I had to order them in the mail from that other company, I was doing it like once a year. Anyway, all of that is good. All of that is fine. The thing that's really great about it is that it's so vigorous. It's so effective. It does that thing where it buzzes every 30 seconds and it stays on for 2 minutes. And now this may surprise you, but I'm not a dentist. I don't know if you can tell. This is all just layman's experience and what I've read in the instruction manual. But I think you can either choose like 1, 2, 3, 4 as your quadrants, or what I usually do, which is like the back of my top teeth and then the front of my top teeth, the back of my bottom teeth and the front of my bottom teeth as my 4 quadrants. So for 30 seconds, you work on one and then it buzzes and you switch to the other, and it does that for all 4 quadrants. I just feel like it and I together were very thorough. We've been very thorough. And you can change the setting, clean to soft to whiten to massage. The thing that made me put it on this list is that if I had paid $100 for it, I wouldn't have been disappointed by the quality. And I just feel like that's impressive. I wouldn't have paid $100, right? I was shopping in the like under $40 realm. But if I had been out to spend $100 on an electronic toothbrush and I had bought this one for $100, I would be like, yeah, that tracks. Now, please don't go abandoning your perfectly good toothbrushes to get this one. It's just a good toothbrush. And if you already have a good one, you don't need another one. But if you're in the market and you're just looking for a tip, I will link this one in the description box down below. And I'll go ahead and link whichever one Joe got too, the upscale Aquasonic, really making mine look dowdy in the cabinet in the bathroom. Okay, item number 2. Now, the toothbrush, clearly, I hope you can tell, I purchased myself with my own money and I'm not affiliated with Aquasonic in any way. I'm just sharing my experience as a toothbrush consumer with you. Some of the things on this list were sent to me by brands. So this next thing falls into that category. It's something that was sent to me explicitly with no strings attached. It was like, we just want to send this to you. If you like it, you're free, of course, to talk about it, but it's up to you. No pressure. And I really, really like it. And I really do want to talk about it because I love sharing things that have worked well for me. And I love watching content like this where people share things that have worked well for them. And I just want to make sure that you have the full and complete sense of the entire marketing process and where I fit into that, even as a free agent and even as someone who's always honest about this kind of thing, so that you can properly position yourself in relation to it. I mentioned these pans briefly at the end of a What's Cheering Me Up Right Now, and actually they were kind of my motivation for making a video, coming up with a video like this. I feel like Joe is going to say that the pan affected the sound. I'm going to put it under the table while I talk. It wasn't the last What's Cheering Me Up Right Now. It was the one before that. And when I sat down to make the list, I was like, I want to talk about those caraway pans because I've used this pan literally every day, except for when I was, moving coast to coast. But every day that I've been cooking in a kitchen, when I've had my pots and pans about me, I have used this pan, sometimes multiple times. So it has genuinely made its way into my life and it gives me delight every time I use it. I really, really, really like having it. So it was really cheering me up at the time, but I feel like what's cheering me up right now, I want to keep it sacrosanct. You know what I mean? Like in that video, I sort of awkwardly tacked a couple of products or items onto the end of it because they really were cheering me up, but they felt out of place because that's not what's cheering me up right now is really about. So that was the inspiration for this video. I wanted to make a separate video, which would be a place where I could just hold forth about things that have been really great. And then what's cheering me up right now can stay itself. Caraway sent me their 4-piece cookware set in this beautiful color, which is, it's the color that they have that's the most adjacent to my interior decor palette. As I've learned, it's like terracotta rose, basically. So anything that's on the spectrum between an almost orange terracotta and an almost pink, like dusty, rusty rose, but especially things that are kind of in the middle, light or dark in value. Those are the things to which I'm gravitating in terms of making my space cozy and making it feel like it has the right vibrations. So I was really excited that they had a color like this, but it's the nonstick coating. It is not Teflon. It's a chemical-free nonstick coating that's made with ceramic materials. My eggs are sliding around in here like they're on a water slide, like they're on a slip and slide. It's just such a good tool for the job, particularly of cooking the morning eggs, but really of cooking anything. And the thing that makes it amazing, and actually since I filmed the first video in which I talked about the caraway cookware, I have regretted not reinforcing the point that the cleanup, and maybe I did in that video, and I just am still so amazed by it that I feel like I didn't do this point justice. You can just wipe them clean. It's so easy to clean them. Joe and I usually cook our own breakfasts at separate times in the morning, and we're both using this pan. So sometimes I usually cook breakfast before him, but sometimes I go in to cook my breakfast after him, and he has used the pan. So it'll be sitting on the stove with some eggy bits in it and some oil left in it. And y'all, all I have to do is take a little dry cloth and wipe out the inside. Nothing ever sticks to it. If I wanted to really do the most, I could give it a quick rinse and, wipe it dry, but it doesn't really require that. And, if you do need to clean it, like if you cook something in it, like tomato sauce or something, and you can't just wipe it out like you've really done a number on it. Even then, wiping it with a sponge and a little bit of water, a tiny bit of soap. It's just so easy to get it perfectly sparkling clean with almost no effort. And I don't do much of the cleaning in our house. I do most of like the food shopping and cooking, and Joe does most of the cleaning. So I didn't expect this to be such an exciting feature of this pan for me. When we first got them, I was like, Joe, you're going to love them because they're so easy to clean. And he was like, wah, 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 wah. And I think he does love them, but I'm the one who's over here like losing it over how easy it is to clean them because I don't like cleaning stuff. That's why Joe does the cleaning and I do the cooking. But I don't mind cleaning this because it makes it so easy. So I just have continued to interact with this piece of cookware on a daily basis. I've continued to appreciate it aesthetically and functionally every single time. I'm also putting it in this video so that I can publicly request that Caraway make a smaller pan, because this is the smallest pan. Their cookware set, this is another thing. They were like, we want to send you cookware. And I was like, okay, love it. No strings attached. I love it so much. And then I picked the color and I saw like the images and I was like, wow, those pieces of cookware look beautiful. Then the box came in the mail and I took them out and they're enormous. The Dutch oven has this enormous capacity and there's this huge pan with like a huge lid. They're serious, y'all. They're not messing around. I feel like a lot of times with pots and pans, you imagine they're going to be bigger than they are and you get them and you're like, oh, this doesn't hold as much soup as I want to cook. The opposite is true of Caraway. Their capacity, they are generous, okay? They're generously sized. But Joe and I are mostly cooking eggs in this and it's just too big. We only ever need 2, maybe 3 eggs each at a time. I want like a half size of this, but I want it to be Caraway and I want it to be in Paracotta. Is that too much to ask? Okay, that was my public appeal. And the last thing I'll say about Caraway is that when my mom lives on the East Coast. She doesn't live around here, but she lives close enough that when we first got here, she drove. She drove here. She was like, I'm going to help you unpack. Joe and I had gone out to do something. We had an errand to run and she was unpacking some boxes in the kitchen. And when we got back, the first thing she said, she was like, those pans, those beautiful pans. I was so stunned when I saw them. And I was like, yeah, I know. They're amazing. And we talked about them for a little while. And it occurred to me that these would make a really good gift. And I feel like, when is this video going to post? It might be too late for Mother's Day. But when I was gathering things together to film this, I was like, maybe someone needs a Mother's Day idea. And maybe it's the Caraway pans. I already got my mom a present for Mother's Day, but I have filed it away in the back of my mind because maybe down the line sometime for like a big birthday or something. The third thing I'm just going to mention quickly because it's also something I've mentioned before, but there's kind of an update. So my friend Becca Sun on Instagram, Becca Sun on YouTube, the mother of Smidge. Everyone who's always asking me what happened to Smidge. Becca adopted Smidge and she's living her best life over there, okay? So Smidge is a good reason to follow Becca, but her content is great and she herself is just reason enough for you to follow her. So Becca has this refillable water bottle that has a huge capacity and this big thick straw. It keeps cold things cold. It's small at the bottom so it fits in the car cup holder even though it's so massive. It's very easy to carry around by its handle. It's very satisfying to drink from it. And as soon as I saw Becca talking about it, I got myself one. I loved it. I mean, I do love it. I still love it. Initially, I loved it so much that when we packed up our stuff to move and I packed it in the boxes, I missed it. And then when we got here and we went out, I think to get towels, it was like we didn't have any towels the very first night that we were here and we needed to take showers. We went to Target and I was walking around Target and I saw these and I was like, I'm going to get another one. So I got a gray one. You might have seen it in another video or on Instagram or something because I've been using both of them. I've been using it a lot. The thing that's been great is having two because when one is dirty, the other one is clean most of the time. I've been keeping up with it pretty well. And basically what's going on is that there's always a clean one. So I always have one with me and I always have it full of water. And my water intake has skyrocketed since I've gotten the second one. Not since I got the second one, since I guess they weren't reunited because they weren't together. Unless they were together in the factory and I never knew. Maybe they were long lost brothers from the cup factory. And I bought one in LA and I bought one here and then I reunited them. Anyway, when they were united or reunited, who knows, when our boxes arrived and we unpacked them and then I had two, that was when my water intake skyrocketed. And I'm not usually a have two of the thing you like kind of person. You know, I'm usually like one is enough. I don't like having multiples of something. But in this case, having one that's always clean and therefore always having one to fill with water at the beginning of the day has been life-changing. Okay, so those were the 3 lifestyle things: my toothbrush, my egg pan, and my sippy cups, my giant sippy cups. And now we are moving into the beauty and fashion segment of the video. And there are some things in here that I've mentioned recently in other videos. So if you are one of those wonderful people who watches all of my videos, forgive me for repeating myself, and I'll try to articulate my pleasure in these items in new ways. The first one is the Esom lip pencils. I just cannot put them down. What can I say that I haven't already said? Because they sent me the entire color range, which this is another thing that came in PR. So just to recap, I bought the toothbrush myself. The Caraway pan was PR. The water bottles I bought myself. These were PR. Muse Beauty Pro sent me the entire range. They had 3 colors that existed already. They have 2 new colors they just launched. So there are 5 shades, but each one is dual-ended, and so it's 10 colors. So I basically went from having just like a small selection of lip liners and I really just had like 3. Because I'm kind of picky about lip liners and color. Like there's something about the shade has to be right, you know what I mean? It has to really work with my other products, and it has to really work with my lips. The texture has to be right. So I have a couple that I use from time to time, but they've never become a staple for me. I'm not one of those people with like a huge cup full of lip liners. So I went from having just a couple that I barely ever use to having 10 colors of lip liner with these 5 Esom products. I have used one of them essentially every time I've applied a lip product, except for clear gloss, now for weeks, because there's always, of the 10 colors, there's always one that will work. There's always one that's kind of close enough to the lip color that I want to use or will support the lip color that I want to use. A couple of them are pretty close to being like my lips, but better for me. And the tones are really good. They're just beautiful. Several of them, if not all of them, would make beautiful lip colors just on their own. So they really nailed it when it comes to color. But the formula is also totally on point. And this is the part that I've talked about before. They feel like really glidey, creamy gel eyeliners. They're that creamy. The formula gives you time to work with them with a brush to buff the edges to make it soft or to shape and reshape however you want. Then once the product has been applied for a little while, it kind of starts to set. It starts to get that kind of tacky feeling. And then it doesn't dry down like completely like a liquid lipstick, but it gets to the point where the layering lipstick might wear away if you're like eating or drinking, but the layer of lip liner underneath it that's holding everything together will stay tenacious and just kind of like keep product on your lip over the course of the day. So they're 2 for 2 with color and formula. Just in my personal makeup using life, with everything that I'm testing and with all of my old makeup that I really love that's unpacked now and surrounding me, these have really been standing out over the past several weeks, and I just had to bring them up again and put them in this video. The other thing that has been standing out to me in my personal makeup testing and makeup using life that's really bringing me a surprising amount of joy and gratification every single day when I do my makeup. I know I'm really far away from the beginning of this sentence, but I've gotten myself into that subject-verb disagreement bind because I said the other thing that is bringing me joy, and now I want to say are brushes. And brushes are plural. I'm going to fix it. The other thing is the array of really useful, special, and high-performing brushes that I have been fortunate enough to receive in PR from a handful of brands over the last couple of months. A couple of brushes have just leapt out as serving their purpose better than other brushes of their kind that I've tried before. One of them is the Esom T45. This is also from Muse Beauty Pro. It's a flat, like a paddle foundation brush that comes to a point. I thought I wasn't going to like it when I first took it out of its packaging because I like brush bristles to be like really, really soft. And the bristles feel a little bit plasticky, but there's something about the design of them specifically that causes it to apply base makeup so beautifully. I think that I'm used to the incredible, soft, grippy bristles of the goat hair brushes of Refer brushes because I love Refer brushes, and I mostly use Refer brushes. One of the things I like about them is how they grab product and hold onto it. And so I feel like I just need to dip. I feel like I have so much control. It's like having a really pigmented product. And for applying color cosmetics, that's true almost across the board. And I really love Refer brushes for like eye makeup, cheek makeup, and powder, because it's nice to have a brush that like holds onto those particles so well. But I think the thing that makes this work so well for smoothing concealer or foundation into the skin is that the pigment doesn't stick to the bristles as assiduously as it does to natural hair bristles. So it's kind of like using a sponge because it's flat, and so it's just really pressing the product into the skin like a wet sponge. But of course, because it's a brush, it doesn't soak up product the way that a sponge does. Maybe I'm wrong about the theory of all of this. Maybe I'm wrong about why it works this way. All I know is that when I take this brush and like pat or press concealer underneath my eyes or on my chin or on the sides of my face, I look in the mirror and I'm like, it looks airbrushed. It looks flawless. It's such a well-designed brush. There's something really special going on. And I demonstrated this in a recent video, which may or may not have gone up yet. When I am spot concealing, I've found that the tip of this angled brush is small enough to dip into my NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer and spot conceal. It's like a big brush and a teeny tiny brush all in one. And for me, for complexion, that is gold. So again, that was an Esom brush. 3 brushes from BK Beauty have really impressed me. The 101, which I've been using for foundation, and green color corrector I've been using it for. The 106, which I've been using for blush. And probably my favorite of the past week or two, the 204, which is a little brush that I've been using to buff out my lip line, soften my lip line. This is the brush I've been using with the Esom lip liners. The thing that's great about these brushes is that they're very, very soft, like velvety soft, but they're very, very dense. So they have that combination of control that you get with the density and the quality that you get from the softness, a seamless, buffed edge. They just feel very quality. I've been really impressed by BK. And then lastly, I have to give a shout out to my 2, I don't know, I love all the Refer brushes, but these 2 are the ones that recently I've just been like, y'all, they're so good. This one especially, the 26, it's like a big, beefy pencil brush. I only have one of these. I have been connected to Refer for a long time, and so every once in a while they'll send me like another brush or 2 of the ones that they know that I like. So I have a handful of the number 3 brush. I have a handful of the number 2 brush. And then those little fluffy blending brushes that are like really good for hooded eyes. I have a whole bunch of those. One way or another, when they've released new things, I've ended up sort of acquiring multiples of my most used Refer brushes. But I only have one of the 26 and I'm constantly looking for it. I left it upstairs and I was doing my makeup down here a couple times and I was like, where's the 26? Where's the 26? Like looking for all of my stuff. And then I realized it was upstairs and it was so disappointing because there's just nothing like it. I mean, the little 03 pencil brush, the number 3 is like it, but just a lot smaller. I just love how when I use this one, I get the same kind of soft, sultry blend, especially underneath the eyes, but more blown out. And then it makes it easier because it's bigger to do what I love to do with the pencil brush, which is to bring that color around to the outer edge of the eye and kind of use it to perfect the shape. Dare I say that this is my favorite Refer brush? I feel like I could do my entire eye look with just this brush. Like if I could only use one, you know what I mean? For a whole month to do my eye makeup, this is the one that I would choose. I just feel like it does everything. And then the 22, I've just been appreciating it lately because I use it, it's like a bronzer brush, you know, huge, fluffy, soft, basically the best one out there. I've already talked about what makes the quality of the bristles so good, the amount of pigment that they pick up, the control that you have. And I don't know, the reason I included brushes in this video is that I usually think of them as kind of boring, like utilitarian tools. The exciting part of makeup is like the creams and the powders and the stuff that you can get your icky, sticky fingers into. But I just can't wait to use these brushes every day. They've been like the highlight of my makeup routine lately. Okay, and the last thing is also something I didn't spend my own money on, but it wasn't sent to me from a brand. It was a gift from my mom, and I really didn't think it through because I'm wearing this like high neck sweater. Let me tell you about my necklace. But some of you have noticed it in recent videos because ever since my mom came up to visit, which was like within the first week of us being here, I've been wearing it. It is a very, very delicate solid gold chain. And I think I know it was a gift again, but I think it was from my wish list because really it was like my Christmas present. She just gave it to me at the beginning of April because we didn't get to see each other at Christmas. It's fine. That's how we roll over here. I understand her completely. So it is, I mean, up close, I don't know if I can give you a good shot. It's just a chain. You know what I mean? It's just a little gold chain. It's like little tiny elongated links. Chain links. I have been so impressed by it in so many ways. What I was going to say is I think I know which one it is, and I'll link the one that I think she bought for me in the description box. So if you need it to be this exact chain, then you can click through. But there are so many chains like this, right? The thing that matters is that it is solid gold. It's 100% gold. It's not gold plated. So I've put it on and I haven't taken it off at all. I've bathed in it. I've showered in it. I literally have not unlinked it since the beginning of April. So I've had it around my neck for a solid month. And it has impressed me in every single way. And I'll try to quickly enumerate the ways. One, it is completely untarnished, untouched, unbothered by having been on my neck for a solid month. It's just sparkling and perfect and just as beautiful as the day it was born, just like the solid gold jewelry that I have in my top 2 ear piercings and the chain, this loopy chain back here. Those are little tiny pieces of solid gold jewelry and they never tarnish, they never get gunky, they never irritate my ears, they never give me trouble. I had to actually take out some of the other little things that I had. All the plating had come off. I had had them for like less than a year. They were gold plated little things. All the plating had come off. They were getting super gross and they basically had a short lifespan. And then these solid gold ones, or this solid gold one up here, which I got at exactly the same time, again, it's just like the day it was born, right? It's like a wear forever kind of thing. So I've just been really impressed by this delicate chain, that it has had that same quality of sturdiness and I haven't had to worry about it. And I just really like that for a piece of jewelry like this. The other thing is just how beautiful it is. I haven't had a necklace like this really, something simple and delicate that I just wear and wear and wear, maybe ever, because I don't like visually to break up the line from neck to chest, right? I feel like this long line visually, when it's cut off with like a bunch of necklaces especially, I don't know, maybe it has to do with my particular silhouette, or maybe it has to do with the clothes that I like to wear. But I tend to feel like it more often detracts from an outfit to have something like cutting me off at the neck. And I think it might be because I do like clothes that sort of play up the décolletage as like part of the effect, right? So it's just not really my jam. I like statement earrings. I like a lot of rings, and I tend not to collect or wear a lot of necklaces. Because it's so slender and delicate, it doesn't interrupt the line visually. You still get the same impression of like the long line down the neck, and it's just adorned with a little delicate sparkling thing. So that has really impressed me, which is just a quality of like any delicate necklace, not this one in particular, but that's what I'm talking about. So basically, how little it alters the silhouette has impressed me, but how much I enjoy the sparkliness of it has impressed me too. I like the way it looks with everything. It's exciting to have a necklace that I like when that hasn't really been a thing for me really very often in my life. So I wanted to add that in here because it's a little thing that has impressed me. And that's it. Those are the 6 things: my toothbrush, my egg pan, my sippy cups, the Esom lip liners, a bunch of amazing makeup brushes, and this beautiful, delicate gold necklace from my mom. I hope that you enjoyed this video, branching out a little bit. So there was some beauty, but it wasn't all beauty. And, you know, I was talking about stuff, but I tried to keep it grounded and I tried to contextualize everything. So I hope it turned into a good video. If you're still here, thank you for watching to the end. Don't forget to subscribe. And more than any of that, don't forget to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.